Welcome to Wooden Table Talks. It is the month of June, and in celebration of Father's Day, we're launching a new series called Dad Mode. Dad Mode is a series of heartfelt exploration of fatherhood. While me and Ant are not dads ourselves, we want to venture into the topic of fatherhood, from its joys to challenges and everything in between. So through candid conversations with fathers we're going to be bringing on, we aim to highlight the beauty and the blessing of being a dad, while they share practical wisdom and real-life insights to inspire and encourage us all to be the best fathers or future fathers we can be. We hope this series impacts you just as much as it impacted us. Peace. What is going on, yo? It is Wooden Table Talks. We're back. We're back with another episode, and we got my man John Michael with us today.
Whoa,
everybody,
what's up, everybody?
Yo, this man, he's one of our good friends, and today we are starting our first episode of Dad Mode series, where we're going to be talking about fatherhood all month to celebrate our fathers out there, our fatherly figures. And so if you're joining us for the first time here at Wooden Table Talks, we aim to build up young men one talk at a time. We want to grow. We want to laugh together. We want to get community together. So if you're coming back for another time, thank you so much for joining us. But today, I'm excited. One, before we get started, we got merch. We got new shirts, y'all. Oh, no. And look at my man, John Michael's looking fresh in that shirt.
I got to rep.
Yeah, he's
How does
to
it
be
feel?
here. I got to be in the apparel.
Yeah. How does it feel? Feels comfortable?
It's soft. It's stretchy for those bigger guys out there. You know, it's a little roomy. Room for activities. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So it's good.
That's a good way to explain it.
Us big dudes out there, we need a little extra space. That's all I'm saying.
I'm really tiny, so I like the way that even it makes my tiny body look like it fills the space. You know what I'm saying? So I feel pretty tiny.
You're big dude, man. You go to the gym like 7 days
Hey,
a week
you're
at
as,
least.
you're as big as you want to be, okay?
Gosh, thanks so much. Stop. That's so good. Hey, what are we drinking today?
Man, we are drinking Otis coffee. It has a milk chocolate caramel flavor. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Where'd you get that from?
Dark roasted. We actually went, and if you actually guys tune into our Wooden Table Talks, Wooden Table Walks. My apologies. Wooden Table Walks, yes, our new channel where we go out and not only, since we talk about it on the table, now we go out and actually talk it out with people just like you. And basically went to this coffee shop and they gave us a sample. They're really cool people. And they gave us this coffee and it was really good.
Where they at?
It was really good. Downtown Claremont.
Downtown Claremont.
Yeah.
It's in Claremont, Florida.
Yeah. Downtown Claremont.
I love that.
Otis coffee.
Do we have it? Pull me up, bro.
Pour you up.
Are we all poured up?
Pull you up, son.
You're not poured up yet?
I'm not poured up. If I'm gonna be chatting, I need a little coffee.
I do need coffee. I need a little bit of a conversation starter
Spice
in
it
my
up a
body.
little bit.
Okay.
Oh wow. Oh, somebody's not sleeping tonight. That's
Nope, he
that's
ain't
what I'm
sleeping.
looking at.
Huh. All right.
Yeah, it is.
It's a
Milk
dark
chocolate
roast,
and
right?
caramel. Yeah, it's a dark roast.
It leans towards dark.
I was about to say, did
that
you pour the whole pot
refreshing sound.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna be honest. Already, visually, I can see straight through this.
Yeah.
So,
in that cup?
all right, I can only imagine where we're gonna go with this.
I'm
Are
just
y'all
saying,
ready?
don't blame
Wait,
the
I
bean.
gotta pour myself
Oh
up.
yeah, pour yourself up.
Don't blame the
hold
bean
up.
if you can see straight through it.
It's true. It's true. You can't blame the bean.
You can't blame the bean
You
there.
cannot blame the bean. But hey, I'm excited to see what.
Beautiful.
I'm open-minded. I'll say that. Clink me.
All right, clink
If you got your mug, clink with us. We trying this. It's hot. That like burned my tongue immediately.
It tastes pretty good.
The bean didn't do it. It's not the bean's fault.
I don't know if it's the
I don't
bean's
know.
fault.
Listen, I don't know who brewed the coffee. I'm not gonna point any fingers.
I don't
here.
know.
What you
but
gotta say? What you trying to say?
I'm just saying.
Can I will say, I think I get the milk chocolate. I think. I don't even know if I can say that certainly, but do you get any notes? Are you
Listen, I read the bag every time. It says milk, it says cherry, it says fruit. It all tastes like dirt to me.
No, it doesn't.
What? But it's good.
I have to agree a little
Like
bit.
coffee.
Yeah, what is it? It's milk chocolate, caramel, and brown sugar.
There's no brown sugar in this.
That's what it
There's
says.
nothing.
That's what it says. So I don't know. I mean, it's from El Salvador.
No, it's
so.
full. That's hot water.
Yeah, that's on the level of Like somebody put the tea bag in, right?
That's a tea bag. It's
That's
tea.
that's tea level brew. That's not even like.
That's tea. What do you think? You haven't said anything yet.
To me, it tastes good. To be all fair now, like they're drinking it pure black. I kind of like snuck a little sugar in it. So
Like
it
if I put some
tastes
creamer
good.
in there to hide the fact that it's partially water.
Yeah,
might
when
work.
I was pouring it, I was
Can
like,
make it
yeah, I
through.
can see right there. This is not right.
I think this is the first time somebody's ever taken a bold black coffee and turned it decaf when they brewed it.
That was really tea, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That gave me tea. I'm
tea
getting
vibes.
tea from that. All right. I'm gonna say. I think honestly, for me, Zach with a Q, I think this is the first coffee I can confidently say I do not recommend on this podcast. I do not recommend Otis.
You should give it a second chance, but you guys need like a brewer.
Yeah.
I'm not pointing any names, but I know a guy that could brew coffee really well for you.
Who?
Me.
Oh,
Me.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Hey. I was like,
I thought you were talking about him.
I'll just bring it over. All right,
Bring
Next
it over,
time-
please.
Next time
Bring
you
it
guys
over,
do your
please.
show, I'll brew the coffee
for sure.
That way you
I
can enjoy coffee more.
I love that. Please, because honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Right there, first taste from Otis. 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10.
Dang,
Easy.
really?
Yeah.
3 out of 10.
That was rough.
Whoa,
That was
that
rough.
is low.
That was rough.
That's tough. But okay, it does say dark roast though.
It does.
It does
says
say
it.
dark
But
roast.
I'm drinking.
It
a
doesn't
light
taste
roast.
like. Yeah, no, seriously. And remember what I said on our last episode? We're forbidden to drink light
Light
roast
roast
on
on
this
this
podcast. No light roast at all.
Hey, man.
We just gotta change the game for you guys.
We just gotta. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. It's true. It's true.
I'm not blaming the bean here, so
can't- you
I'm
can't
not gonna
blame
give
the
it a
bean.
rating because I can't blame the bean.
All right, we'll come back around to Otis maybe in the future and give it another try for sure. But hey, I'm ready to get into this, man. I'm excited to talk with my man John Michael today. Before we get into the serious stuff,
Yeah.
who are you when you're not working, when you're not dadding, when you're not being a dad? What are you doing?
So you guys asked me this question, and I'm sitting here and I'm trying to think about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think about like who am I when I'm not a dad, when I'm not working, when I'm not serving in a role or capacity or whatever I'm doing. And what I've realized and what I've seen in my life is a lot of who I am is wrapped up in what my purpose is at that moment. And so me by myself, like I'm just a normal dude. I love chilling. I love hanging out. I love being with friends, and I love gaming. I love to
I
game.
love the game too, bro.
I love to game, but I'm also the same person that's like, I don't like to game by myself anymore.
Yeah.
I'm getting into my 30s now, but it's like I hop on and I want to play. And you see the memes out there on Instagram and like social medias of like what it's like gaming in your 30s. Listen, I'm falling asleep before 10 o'clock. So
It must be nice.
people are getting free kills out there in Apex, you know. But no, I'm just when I'm not on for everything else, I'm just a chill dude. I love to hang and I love to talk, doing stuff like this. This is who I am.
Just for reference, Aunt, how old are you?
I'm 20, turning 25.
You have to
this
think
year,
about
so
you
24,
need a second to think about that. You need a second.
if
So
you
I'm
think about it,
I'm
you
currently
might be a little
24 years
older.
old. Yes.
No, I'm also the same. So it's just to put that into perspective, because I believe, John Michael, you're gonna bring a lot of wisdom and a lot of points that we can take notes on today.
Appreciate that.
And so, but one being gaming, I love solo queuing. I'm a solo queuer. I love playing games by myself. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
I really do. Like, and when people invite me to parties, I'm really more like, all right, I'll join, you know. But
So is that how you feel when I invite you to?
every
Okay.
single time, every single time.
We're gonna talk off camera about our friendship now. Okay, I see how it is.
I'm just saying, nobody invites me. You don't invite me.
You don't even have me on.
Don't
Wait,
blame me.
You have
for that.
PlayStation?
No,
Don't blame
I'm on
the
PC.
bean, bro.
I'm on the master
Oh,
race.
you're on.
Don't
my
blame.
bad.
Oh, that-
He's on PC,
Okay,
guys.
wait.
PC.
I will have one by the end of this year. I promise.
How much is it to get into
It's the
one? though?
best of both worlds. Man, the getting into PC now is getting cheaper and cheaper
Really?
just because you here's the thing with PC. PC is gonna last a lot longer than these updates that come into like consoles. Like
Correct.
the war's always been like, yo, which console is better for this time? who's got the better graphics and whatnot. The thing with PCs is like when you invest in it, it's longevity. So I've had my PC for 8 years and I haven't had to upgrade it at all yet. And
Wow.
I'm able to play games. I'm just now in 8 years getting to the point where I need to start making some small upgrades. So like, and it's going to be cheaper in the long run, like a graphics card here or so on and so forth. And it doesn't have to be the biggest and the best just to get you through to the next. So
Correct.
I enjoy PC just because I can play both PlayStation and
Xbox game.
Xbox games. It's pretty
true.
good.
Yeah.
It's
It's
true.
pretty good.
If you want, you can download emulators. If you don't have a game, you can. There's just a lot of freedom. There's just a lot of freedom.
So much freedom.
How did you grow up? How were you brought up, especially as a kid? How was that?
Yeah, so for me growing up, I grew up in a home. My mom and my dad, they stayed married. They took us to church every Sunday. You know, we were in church every Sunday. If I didn't want to wake up, they're like, nah, you going to church.
Yo.
You got to be in the house.
I feel that.
So there was a lot of good like foundational pieces that my parents set for me when I was younger. But I grew up in a home where like my parents loved me, but I would say one of the things that I did struggle with in my growing up was me and my dad, we always had like a rocky relationship. So and what I would want to base that off to is like with fatherhood, like you emulate what you've been taught, right?
Yeah.
Like what you've been taught is what you're gonna do. So I want to give grace to my dad there. He just did what he was taught, but he
Right.
was definitely a father that was like, he was in the home, but hard to reach kind of thing. Like he was there, but if there was moments where it was like, hey, you want to go hang, he would rather do his things. And so for us, it was always this relationship of having a dad in the home that was just not really active and present. But let alone he still loved us. But that was a very hard position for us in life, right? Like even into my adulthood, my relationship with my own father has always been rocky. But good. My mom, love my mom. My mom is a saint. I like to describe my mom as like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. Like she has all the energy.
Yo.
Like she's so much fun. She'll love you. She'll overboard love you. You know, you say you'll like something, and then she'll bring you like 6 pounds of that something, right? Like you're like, yo, I really like this dark chocolate. Like at Christmas, you're getting like 6 pounds of that dark chocolate. That's my mom. And then my sister, she's older. But you know, that relationship there was the same kind of thing, was like typical brother and sister. We gonna fight all the time. But for us, we didn't really grow close until our later years into our adulthood. So it was a good home, despite it had its flaws, right? Every
Yeah.
family's got its flaws. Every family's got its mistakes, and you just hope that you don't recreate those same mistakes. So we were in the church. That's one thing that I'll always be thankful for my dad, despite, you know, all the mistakes that he's made along his journey. One of the main things that he taught in my family was, yo, you're going to go to church. Like he's the reason why my mom got baptized.
Oh, wow.
He's the reason when she walked away from God, when she was in her teenagers, he came back into their lives when they got married, and he brought her back into a relationship with Christ, which is something like I said, like given the range of wrongs, there are still things that you can look back and be like, okay, hey, my father did good things here, right?
That's good.
So I'm in a season of life now where I get to kind of show grace and have a better understanding of how my childhood was. Yeah. If that makes sense.
That does make
that's
sense.
good.
That does
That's
make
good.
sense.
Now, how do you balance life between, you know, your wife, your kids, and work? You know.
Yeah, so for me, balance is this thing where, balance is a thing that you're always chasing. You're never actually going to achieve balance, right? Like there's always going to be somewhere where the ball drops. You can get close to balance. You can get to something that is a semblance of balance. But what most people want, right, is they were like, oh, I've finally reached it. I've hit this point. It's peak. Like I'm good. Life is balanced. I got X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. And what I would say is balance is good And balance looks different for everybody. Everybody has their perspective. Your balance is going to look different than my balance, right? Like you guys don't have kids yet, but I do. So like my balance requires me to take into other factors that you guys wouldn't take into factor, right? And balance. I would say the enemy of balance though is routines. Falling into the wrong routine can't mess up the balance in your life. The best example I got is there's moments in my life where I find that I've fallen into a routine of come home, hang out with wife, hang out with son, and then as soon as son goes down, instead of spending more time with wife, go and do my own thing. And she goes and does her own thing. But we never talk about it. And then next thing you know, we have like this untalked about awkwardness and we're trying to figure that out. And it's like, oh, because I fell into a bad routine of just going and doing my own thing and not taking the extra hour to an hour and a half to be with her, to listen to her, and to see what I can do as a good husband for her. So balance is a moving target. I would say have an outline of your balance and then move into it. So like my day, like when I break down my day, wake up, get dressed, go to work. My car ride in from work, I'm listening to like a podcast. I'm looking to, sometimes it's Wooden Table Talks. I'll listen to a podcast, or a sermon or worship, or because like that 45-minute drive from my house to work is my time that I get to really like spend with God. And there's like a lot of conversations that I get to have there in the morning. Work, and then after work, I get another 45 to an hour home. And then as soon as I get home, it's family. So like I'm hanging out with my son, I'm hanging out with my wife, up until the point my son goes to bed. And depending on whose night it is, we love to do these things where we swap cuddle nights. So we pray, we sing songs, we read, and then one of us stays back and we do a little extra cuddling with our baby boy. And then after all that, it's wife time. Like I check in with her, I see how she's doing. We talk about the day, talk about how she's doing, what things went on in her life, and she's doing the same for me. So I'm making sure that I spend intentional time with my son and my wife together, just my wife. And then at the end of the day, if there's any time left over, I take that time, for me. That's my me time.
That's really good.
And so that's kind of how I structure my life. Now that, like I said, it's a moving target. That's not how every day is going to look, right? On Wednesdays, I serve at students, so I don't get to do that extra stuff that I normally would. And so I have to make up for it somewhere else along the way. So that's why I would say balance is a moving target.
Yeah. And would you say communication is a very big key part of having a family and balancing your life?
Absolutely. I would say problems that we have in this life, a lot of problems, put a percentage on it, like 95% of all problems could just be solved by communicating better. Like communication between me and my wife. If I'm not communicating with my wife, then I don't know her needs, right? Like I don't know what she wants from me. Now I got to communicate with her on a surface level, but I also got to communicate with her on a deeper level, right? So communicating with her on what she needs, what is she looking for, where does she need help, especially with our new baby on the way. Like there's more that she needs assistance with as she's getting to the end of term and everything like that. So communication is key. Good communication leads to good relationship, right? Like that's you can't expect to have a good relationship with somebody if you never call them, or if you never talk with them, or chat with them, or say hello, or check in, or sometimes it's just the hey and the smile that make it through the day. And so communication is 100%. And then like communication with my son, that looks a little bit different too, right? Trying to check in with a 4-year-old and trying to navigate what a 4-year-old is trying to tell you. Like, Daddy, today when I was at school, their zombies were eating us and we were running. And you're trying to like decipher what does this even mean? Or, and the communication that happens between you and a 4-year-old is a lot different than it does between you and your wife, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, communication is super, super important.
Can I circle back around? You said something that to me is very provoking. You said something along the lines of routine can be the enemy of balance.
Yeah.
And I'll say for me, like my presumption coming into this is probably the opposite. I feel like if anything, people have told me the opposite. It's like routine is you better get into a routine. You better get into a routine. But what are you experiencing? This is shifting my perspective as you say that. What are you experiencing that would point to, hey, a routine can actually be a roadblock for you, especially as a father?
Yeah, and let me go back and clarify. It's not necessarily like routine in of itself is bad. Routines are pivotal. Like they are important for an everyday life. Like you gotta hash out some routines. It's falling into those bad routines. Those I'm just tired. I'm gonna come home and I'm just gonna sit and look at my phone. And my son is like trying to grab my attention, and all I'm caring about is just doom scrolling at that point, right? That's why for me, putting my phone down at night is important when I get home, right? Like my son needs me. My son wants to see me. My son hasn't seen me all day, so I need to be present for him. It's falling into those bad routines that cause the problem, right? It's not that routines are bad inherently. So one routine that I fell into that was bad, just being full transparent, was there was a season where I would come home and hang out with the family, and I thought to myself, oh, this is enough. Like I'm hanging out with my son and my wife. And then when my son goes down, I go do my thing. Wifey does her thing. And the reality was there's a lot of miscommunication that was happening there that I wasn't taking into consideration. Like it was this thing of like, oh, I fell into this routine of just trying to take care of the things that I needed to take care of. Yeah. And the reality is the things I need to take care of are my wife and my son, right? Yeah, that makes sense. So falling into those bad routines is what I would say is the enemy to a balanced life, right?
That's so good.
Because routine is good, but you always have these factors that jump in the middle of it, right? Yeah. Kid gets sick. Like that's going to throw off routine.
So true. That makes sense.
Trying to navigate work, full-time work. My son, let me tell you something. My son always gets sick when my wife goes out of town. So, like, my wife is going out of town. She's going on a trip. She's going on a conference or something like that. And next thing I know, I get a call from the school. Hey, James is throwing up everywhere. And now I have to figure out, hey, I've got this amount of PTO. I can take here. I can do that. I have to go home. Can I find somebody to watch him? Yeah, there's factors that throw off the routine. So it's going in and out of routine and making sure that when you're going in and out, back and forth, when these chaotic moments jump into your life, it's making sure that you fall back into a good routine.
And it's really interesting.
And it's all based around like, hey, what are your priorities? If you get to the heart of your priorities, then you'll build a good routine around what that priority is.
What would you say as a father? What are the non-negotiables as a dad? Yeah. What are the things that you just cannot do as a dad?
So here's the thing. Like non-negotiables for me are going to look a little bit different than non-negotiables for everybody else, right?
Right.
Because my non-negotiables are factored off of how I was raised. Like I feel like a lot of us, we put into parenting, we put into fatherhood a lot of what we saw our dads do. Yeah. Of like, hey, I didn't like that. And so now this has become a non-negotiable for me, right? So when I was growing up and like when I was growing up and I was like, oh, hey, when I'm a dad, I'm not doing this, So there's a lot of factors that go into your non-negotiables. So one of my non-negotiables is my family will get the best of me, not my leftovers.
Ooh, not your leftovers.
They get the best of me, right? They need the best of me. They need my best at all times. So if I'm not doing the things that I need to do to prepare myself to be the best for my family, I'm falling short, right? That's a non-negotiable for me. They don't get my leftovers. They don't get my have-tos. You know what have-tos are? Like, I have to do this tonight. I have to go and hang out with my son. Oh, I have to go and sit down. No, they don't get that. They get full, hey, buddy, I'm tired, but we gonna hang. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna be there for you. Honey, how was your day? Like it's the things of like
Wow.
they don't get my leftovers. They get the best of me. That's a non-negotiable in my life. A second one that I have is my kids will always have my presence, not my absence. My kids will always have my presence. When my son comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, Daddy, you want to play?" Everything stops. If we're just vibing at the house, everything stops. Absolutely. What do you want to do? What do you want to play? What game are we making up off the top of my head? You know, are we playing basketball? Are we just going to run around in circles in the house? Because that's what we'll do. If that's what you want to do, that happens. You know, during a hurricane, sometimes you got to run around in circles. We're in Florida, so I mean, you get those hurricanes.
Yeah.
You don't get to go outside and run off
some daily
all the
thunderstorms.
energy. Yeah, straight up. Or those daily thunderstorms, right? So, man, my kids will have my presence. One thing that I experienced as a child was there was moments in my life where I was like, "Hey, can we go do this? Can we go do that? Can we go outside and play this? Or can we go through the football or different things like that?" And those were moments in my life that I do remember vividly. That I came second to the things that other people wanted, right? And so here's the thing: is like when I've created a kid and when I have brought this child into my life, right? He gets my priority, you know? The stuff that I get to do for the next 18 years kind of sits back a little bit, right? That's not first on the mind anymore. It's not the first thing that I think about anymore. Like, I have to put myself there for them. They need to know that their dad is there and that their dad loves them. My third one is my kids will never go a day, neither my wife, my kids will never go a day without hearing the words, "I love you."
Oh.
Powerful.
Ooh.
You have to say it daily. And my son will hear me say it to him multiple times a day. I'll just be like, "Yo, James." And be like, "What, Daddy?" I'm like, "I love you." It's like, "I love you too, Daddy." You know, like he needs to know that I love him.
Yeah.
And there's something great about expressing the love out loud, right? Like you need to hear it. It needs to be audible. You can't just assume somebody sees it by your actions. Like your actions do speak louder than your words, but your words also have to speak, right?
Correct.
You have to say it out loud.
Yeah.
You every once in a while you have to make sure that they hear those words in your voice. "Hey, I love you." And just because I love you, you know, just because I love you doesn't mean anything is going to change. No matter how much trouble you get into, no matter how many red choices you make, my love is there for you. So those are some of my non-negotiables.
That was really good.
So, what would you say to a young man right now that did not have a father figure in his life, but he wants to become one, right? But he didn't have a mentor either, and he's very scared of the thought that he doesn't want to carry on any toxic traits to his new family. What would you say to him?
So the first thing I would say to him, if your mind space is already there, like, "Hey, I don't want to be carrying on these toxic traits," you're already winning that battle, because you're already acknowledging, "Hey, there were toxic traits, and I'm not taking that into my parenting," right? There were these things that I saw that I was like, "No, I'm not going to do that." Like, so one, you're already aware. You're already aware of it. You're already aware of what you don't want to bring into the family. You're already aware of what you don't want to put on your kid. You're already aware of things that you don't want to say. But two, I would also say don't be fearful of that. Like, be the change in that, right? Like, that was something that drove me, that put a fire in my bones about wanting to be a dad, was like, my kids are going to get the dad that I didn't get, right? My kids are going to get a dad that is there, that is present, that loves them. And I'm going to change those things that I didn't like growing up. Like, I'm going to take the good. I'm going to try and take the good, right? I'm going to chew up the meat and spit out the bones, as they say, right? Like, I'm going to try and look for the things that my father did right, and I'm going to implement those. And the things that he did wrong, I'm going to change those toxic traits. I'm going to be the change. There's an artist, he writes in a song, and in the song, it's all about his dad and about how he was always praying for some guy to come into his life, to be his mentor, to be his father. And in the course, he basically says, maybe I'm the answer to the thing that I was praying for.
Oh,
That was deep.
Right? Like, maybe I'm the answer to that thing that I was praying for.
Yeah.
Like, Lord, like, this is what I'm praying for. And God's like, hey, no. You're the answer. You're the change. You're the difference maker. You're going to change that in your kid's life.
You're breaking the cycle.
You're breaking the cycle. You're breaking the chains. Like, it stops here. It stops with me, right? It stops with the toxicity stops with me. It doesn't go beyond me. Because as dads, as fathers, as husbands, we are the gatekeepers to the things that come into our family's lives. You stand at the door, and what you let in determines what happens, right? And so as the gatekeepers, as the fathers, I would encourage you, be the change now. Just because you didn't have it doesn't mean that the next person that you want in your life doesn't get to get it.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I have one more question I really want to get your input on.
For sure.
How would you deal with messy relationships coming up? Let's say I had a really messy relationship with my dad growing up, or even just maybe I didn't have a dad. Maybe I even had a messy relationship with other male figures in general that I looked up to.
Yeah.
How do you deal with something like that, especially stuff that has like lasting effects on you as you grow into adulthood? How do you deal with that?
Man, it's something that doesn't work itself out overnight. The lasting effects, like you're asking right there, like those are things that you still have to work through. Like there's days where my wife still reminds me, you are not your father. There are days where I still get caught up and I'm struggling with thoughts of like, yo, I'm letting it down. I'm dropping the ball. Where do I stand in the midst of all this? Like, and she has to remind me time and time again, you are not your dad. You are not your dad. You've already changed so much in this life. You are not your dad. So I think part of it is you got to speak it into your life, right? You got to speak it over your life, that the toxicity of those relationships and the lasting effects of those relationships don't get to have strongholds anymore. You have to work through them. Sometimes it takes therapy. Sometimes it takes counseling. I've sat with counselors. I've sat with therapists and just really worked on myself and my own mental health when it comes to the struggles that I've dealt with in my own life. And so it's tough trying to get past those lasting effects. Now, if it's happening still now, like within your household, right? You're, like I said, you're the gatekeeper. You're the one who lets the things in and lets the things out. So you got to set the boundaries. One thing that I did in my marriage early on, and this was before we had kids, there was a lot of things that I had to work out with my own parents, and I had to set boundaries with them. I had to let them know, hey, these are things that we don't talk about. These are things that you don't talk about. These are things that are in my life that I don't want to know. Not because I didn't care about them, but because for my own mental health and my own mental clarity, I had to make sure that I couldn't carry those things. So you got to set boundaries, and sometimes you got to set hard boundaries, and sometimes those boundaries will cause issues, right? It's a tough thing when you have to tell your parents, like, hey, these are my non-negotiables. These are at some point, right? Like it says in the Bible, like you will leave your father and your mother and you will be united to your wife and as one. Okay? You respect your parents, but you don't owe them anything at this point. Other than I will respect you, I will love you. But at this point, you have to set up the boundaries for your family. You got to set the boundaries for your wife. Your wife is expecting you to guard your house. And so boundaries are key, man. Boundaries are key. And here's the thing. There might be times that you have to have multiple conversations with parents, with parents about those things. Hey, we need to recircle back to this. We crossed some boundaries. Remember, this is the line that we set up. to protect us and to protect you. I think also too, something that gave me clarity in my life about certain situations and about certain things was the fact that you can forgive people for the things in the past. Like, you can forgive your parents for the things in the past, but there's still consequences, right?
It's true.
Like, you can let them in or you cannot let them in. And the thing is like, you can forgive, but there's still the consequences of like, hey, this is as far as our relationship goes, you know. And there's some hard boundaries that I've had to set in my life. Like, hey, this is how far our relationship goes. I don't share it. There's certain things that I don't share anymore because it's either too personal or two, it gets turned back on me somehow, some way down the road. And so the key is sitting down with you and your spouse and being like, hey, what are our boundaries to our parents? Because you got to have a healthy marriage, and sometimes it works hard on your heart, hard on your mind.
That makes a lot of sense.
So, do you ever, how can I say this? Do you ever like relapse? And let's say, for instance, like, you know, you think you're good, from like what happened in the past. You think you straighten everything out, and then like you can have a conversation, and then during the conversation, let's say that your mother or father says something, and it triggers something, and then like for the rest of the conversation, now you're triggered, and now you feel like you're relapsed into remembering what happened, or
absolutely.
Like how would you deal with that?
Absolutely. So depending on the situation, change the conversation, change up the topic, get out of that situation. However you have to get out of it, you know, whatever's causing that issue to rise up again, and then speak truth into the situation too. Like, hey, this is just Satan trying to get at my mind right now. This isn't real. This isn't accurate. This is not true to who I am as a person. Like, for me, my relapse is always, like I said earlier, like I'm not my dad, right? Like, I'm never going to be my father. And I find myself getting back into those moments where into my headspace of like, hey, you're just like your dad. And it's like, no, who said that? I didn't say that. No, Satan's speaking that into my head because he knows if he can get me off my game, then the domino effect happens, right?
True.
I'm stuck in my head about what I just did or how this made me feel or this past thing. And this is how it always happens is this moment pops up and now it's starting to affect everything else in a domino effect, you know? It's distracting you from being a good husband. It's distracting you from being a good father. It's distracting you. It comes out in all these different ways. That you have to take that. Like, remember what it says in, I want to say it's Corinthians, where Paul writes and he says, "For our weapons of warfare are not of this world; they are not carnal, right? They are weapons to demolish every stronghold and make it obedient to Christ, right? So we have to fight lies with truth."
Yeah.
And we have to speak the truth over ourselves. And sometimes you got to keep doing it, and you got to keep doing it, and you got to keep doing it, and you're going to keep doing it for the rest of your life. You're going to keep doing it when you get into your 50s and your 60s. You're going to keep doing it. And it's going to be this thing of you have to speak truth because the enemy is trying to get you off your game. He's trying to get you to not be good dad, not be good husband. And so speak truth, man. Speak truth over your life. Whatever situation that you're going through, remind yourself you're a new creation. God created you. He knit together every fiber of your being. He knows you in and out. He will be there, right? Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you are right there beside me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Speak truth in your life. That's what I would say to that one.
Amen.
That's good. You got anything else from my man, John Michael?
I'm great.
Hey, I'm going to be honest. I genuinely learned a lot just now. I learned a lot. And so I hope all these people listening as well. I'm sure they have. And so, hey, John Michael, I appreciate you coming on this, man. On this episode of Wooden Table Talk. That's episode 1 of Dad Mode. Check it out, all platforms. It'll be on Spotify, Apple Music, right here on YouTube. Hey, comment, like this video if you got impacted by it, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.